did put a new rubber coating on the hot dog cutter.
Oh, did you?
That was kind of much harder. After that, I spent a lot of money to do it for some reason.
Yeah.
Too much. They don't need to pour it.
Do too much anymore.
Yeah. I got so much to do. I don't feel like doing it. My shop is
It's
full of
overwhelming.
My shop is full of go out there. Pressure away. So
Out of sight, out of mind.
yeah, I can't do this till that's done. I can't do that till that is done. And I can do that before that can do that. And where do you start?
How's Phil?
About the same. He hurt all over.
Hate that.
Yeah, me too. And that's, oh, I know. I got sweeping hip.
What?
Hip.
Oh.
I rested a little bit.
I wonder what that is.
Coming home for a couple of days. Matthew 14. I went to the gym for 2 years.
Long ones, though.
I was going to the gym pretty regular for a while.
How's Andy? He's all right. He's got bronchitis.
Stand or walk on this foot.
We were at the ER yesterday. Got in the ER.
You've been by to see him? Well, I talked to him, I think it might have been last week, because I called him because they weren't here. He said, shingles?
All right, hey, we're going to go ahead and begin. And we're going to start with a scripture reading.
Hello, my name is Gavin Pepper, and I'm going to read Matthew 14. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side. While he dismissed the crowd, after he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it is you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink. Cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Then when they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret. And when the men of that place recognized Jesus, they sent word to all the surrounding country. People brought all their sick to him and begged him to let the sick just touch the edge of his cloak. And all who touched it were healed.
All right. Thank you for being here, and appreciate Gavin. He did such a great job. Appreciate him and all the ones who are working toward that for LTC, but just also getting that experience. I'm going to start with just a few announcements. We just have a lot of things that are going on this month, so I wanted to get into a couple of things. Today is really the last day to purchase stars, so Amy's right off the foyer after class. If you still have not purchased a star and you're able to, please go up there, see her in order to get a star. We pass those out tomorrow, so we also have a need. If you are available tomorrow and can be up here to fill baskets, pass out some of those baskets to those individuals. If you have time tomorrow, that would be much appreciated and helpful, but that is tomorrow. And so today, if you have, please purchase one of those stars for these families.
What time is that
Tomorrow we'll get together at 9 a.m. I think we'll start passing out the baskets about 10:30, and then, of course, that'll go most of the day. This Wednesday, if you're available and want to join us, there's an all-church dinner, 6 o'clock in the FLC. We'll have cheeseburger soup, and then Bible class at 7, and then right after Bible classes, our Christmas chorus will be in the auditorium at 8 p.m. So that's this coming Wednesday. Next Sunday night, the night of remembrance, in the chapel here at 5 p.m., so it's always a good time. And this was a change. I think we've done it on the 14th or this time. So it's next Sunday night, the 21st. Speaking of just things that are coming up, just so that everybody's on the same page for our schedule for December. I know we've said this several times, but we're trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page. The next 2 Sundays are normal Sundays, okay? We'll have 2 worships, Bible class in between. That's Sunday, December 21st and the 28th. Wednesday, December 24th, there's nothing that evening. And then on the 31st, on New Year's Eve, there'll be a 7 p.m. devotional and game night right after that. So if you're available a little bit on New Year's Eve, make plans maybe to be here for that. And then on Sunday, January 4th, to start the new year, we have 1 combined worship, no Bible classes, congregational meal after worship. There's some other things that we're going to be announcing and doing that day. So it's going to be a really good day. So please make plans to be here on January 4th, but just remember that it's just 1 combined worship at 10 a.m. that day. If you need a place to go on Christmas, or if you're just home, then Thursday, December 25th, Christmas Day, at 1 o'clock in our gym, the Family Life Center, there'll be a meal. Please sign up in the foyer if you can, and bring a side or dessert if you're able. But everyone is welcome, so please be here on that day if you can and are able and want to be together with others in fellowship. It'll be a great meal. That's at 1 o'clock on Christmas Day. And then we announced, starting this last week we announced, but in the new year, so starting in January, January 7th, Wednesday night classes are going to start at 6:30 p.m. Something we're going to try for a little bit, see how it goes, help families out and things, but that will start in the new year, January 7th, Wednesday nights at 6:30. And then registration is open for the First Steps Parenting Seminar that's happening January 16th and 17th. So please be sure to sign up. There's a booth even in the foyer that you can see more information for that. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of good things that are happening, a lot of busyness, I know, during this season. So just keep in mind some of those things, but it's just great for us to be together and have those opportunities and times to be together as well. If you have your Bibles, as has already been read, go ahead and turn to Matthew chapter 14. Matthew chapter 14, we'll get into that. Now, several weeks ago, we talked about the miracle of Jesus calming the storm, and there are a few similarities and things that we're going to touch on a little bit with this one as well. There's some maybe interesting things that come together, but one thing to remember as we look at this story, one of the big differences is at this point in Jesus' ministry, at this point in his time spreading the word and the truth, couple of things. One, it's right after the death of John the Baptist, okay? So it's right after his death. And the second thing is this story immediately follows him feeding the 5,000, and as well as other parables and miracles and things that he has accomplished. And one thing, reason why I think that is so important is because specifically at this point in his ministry, there's lots and lots of people that are trying to get to Jesus, right? There's I guess the demand, if you could say, to see Jesus, to be around Jesus, and a lot of that just has to do with the physical, doesn't it? Okay? Jesus has physically fed them, provided for them, healed them, all the things. And so there is a lot of people that are trying to come to Jesus in that way for those purposes. And the first thing that we see in this story, starting in verse 22, is Jesus sent them ahead. Immediately, he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he dismissed the crowds. After he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountainside to pray by himself. When evening came, he was there alone. So the first thing we see is that Jesus sent them. Now, it's very similar, if you remember back even in the when he calmed the storm and he got in the boat. Again, that was a directive from Jesus, right? Let's go to the other side. We're going to go to the other side. Then Jesus goes down and to the boat, and then the storm comes. So that was a directive from Jesus. And the thing that I think that the reason that's important is because we need to remember that the road is not always easy, right? And sometimes the road is not easy even when we are doing exactly what we need to do. And in fact, maybe some of us would even say that sometimes the road gets even more difficult when we're doing the right things. And you know, I think that that's a lot of times attributed to that's Satan working, right? That's Satan working around us in our lives and trying. If we're not doing what we're supposed to do, then maybe he just doesn't care about us as much, right? So sometimes we need to remember that even when we're doing the right thing, the road is difficult. And so as Jesus, he sends them on ahead and was planning to come to them at a later time. Now, what also did Jesus use this time for, to send them ahead? What does he use the time for? Yeah, he uses it in prayer, right? He uses it as a time to maybe, and think about all the things that have happened. The death of John the Baptist, the feeding of the 5,000, while, that's just a big thing, but think of all the people that were there and just around him. He needed just a little moment away, right? And we see this several times throughout his ministry. He takes that time away. And I'm bad about this. Is anyone else bad about this? Like, I'm bad about this. Just being able to take a moment to get away, to maybe breathe a little bit, to pray, time just to maybe refocus. Life gets so busy and things get so hectic. I think sometimes it becomes difficult for us to just take that specific amount of time just to go and be by ourselves or be away. But Jesus does that, and we see that several times. And so he went and he prayed for a little bit. Now, in verse 24, but the boat by this time was a long way from land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. It's also interesting because it's like Jesus kind of gets away, and he's praying and taking that time to pray and refocus. And what are the disciples doing? They're working hard, aren't they? What'd you say? Oh, no, they're working hard. They're having to fight the waves, and it says the wind was against them. So they're having to go against the winds, the waves, the things that have come up. And so they were going a long distance. They said they were a long way away by this point from the land, being beaten by the waves. And so they're working. Jesus is praying, but so I was also thinking that maybe there was a sense of which they felt alone. All right, okay, Jesus, you've done so much. You've been around, and we've seen what you can do. I mean, all the people you were just able to feed, the great miracle that came from that, and now you just left us out here to, again, fight against the wind and the waves. I don't know all the things that they were thinking, but maybe they felt a little bit alone. Maybe they felt like they were being neglected just a little bit. But what was the truth of the situation? What is the truth of it? Well, they weren't. Yeah, that's blunt. All right, that's just, they weren't. What else? What do you think Jesus was doing? Yeah, I think it. Well, I think for certainly, yeah. He was using this as some kind of an example always, right? And so this was further example. And look, Jesus is praying, and I mean he was praying for his disciples, right? He constantly prayed for his disciples. He prayed for his mission. He prayed for God's will to be done. He prayed for the people that he was with. He was very much invested in them and their lives, and he was about to reveal something for them in a powerful, powerful way. Sometimes maybe then in our life, what we need to understand is that a separation or feeling alone or feeling distant from God sometimes is preparation potentially for what's to come. And we can't then neglect those situations and circumstances in pulling ourselves further away. I think that's often our response is we start to pull ourselves away even more because of different things that are happening. So I think we've got to be mindful that we've got to go and do the work and pull ourselves closer to God. But when the waves come, the winds come, and I don't really know how bad it was. It doesn't necessarily seem to be as bad as the other storm, but it was still a difficult time here on the water. They had a little bit of difficulty, and those things reveal things that the calm doesn't reveal. And we mentioned that in the other storm, right? That a lot of times the storms in our life, the difficulties, let's just say difficulties, the troubles, the problems, those things reveal things about us, don't they? It reveals things about our situation, and sometimes we don't necessarily even handle those in the most proper way, do we? We don't handle those in the way that we should. And sometimes that can reveal a lot about who we are, about how we've prepared, about the situation that we've even put ourselves in. If the water was calm, it'd have been easy for them. There'd have been no big deal. There'd have been nothing, and maybe they had already been to the other side. But there was some resistance.
Jim, in today's time, what you have just spoken about is that we, living in this time, are so distracted with everything that's going on that we do not give enough credit to God for His guidance and His wisdom. We don't have time because of the distractions.
Yeah, I say all the time that I think distraction is a key weapon, tool used against us because it becomes difficult, right? It becomes difficult that we get so caught up in so many things.
And
So,
if we individuals don't slow down and use more prayer in our life,
yeah. And that's what Jesus' lesson is. That's part of it here is
Right.
sometimes we have to make sure that we're setting those things in place, right?
how does that affect
Yep.
our children
Yep,
and our grandchildren
yep.
and
It's,
our great-grandchildren?
we've got to be intentional, right? So it's very important for us. Intentionality, I think, is the importance for us in our life.
I think him showing everybody, all of them, that he was, doing exactly that, taking that time and going off and praying all the time, is, just like another one of the lessons.
That was an example.
But you guys, maybe you might want to do this too.
Yeah,
Get away from the little bickering you're always doing between each other, or, get
Yeah.
away.
yeah. Like when he was in the bottom of the boat sleeping during the storm. It's like, come on, it's not that big a deal. Like, let's have some perspective, right? Yeah. Jesus certainly made that example and created that for us.
A lot of people have, they want to question Jesus being both fully example and just showing everybody he's fully God. That wasn't going to be the
Yeah.
example.
Exactly. No, that's true because you can start to question that a little bit. Well, you're God. I can't do that. I'm not God. But
Like, oh, you're bleeding. Oh, wow, you're
yeah, he had human emotions and feelings as well.
crying.
Yeah.
He was born physical body. So he's, when it talks about the earth man,
Yep.
God is a man, and that's a man thing. Women gather together when there's times of stress. Men, they have to get off by themselves, pray to the Lord, and work things out between him and the Lord. And you can't have any distractions because God Almighty and Jesus Christ knew what was coming. And he had a lot of worry about, and he had a lot of suffering.
Yeah. Yep.
And he had to work them out, get another breath, then he can go ahead and go on.
And so then, yeah, and a lot of it has to do with where he was going to next. And it's, Jesus showed up in really an unexpected way, verse 25 and 26. And in the fourth watch of the night, that was late in the night, 3, 6 a.m. time frame or so, he came to them walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, and they said, "It's a ghost!" And they cried out in fear. Okay? Man, this is obviously, what would our reaction be, right? I mean, I think that's got to be the first thing. Okay? It's late in the night. They've been fighting the wind and the waves. I imagine they're tired. They're probably, this is just my feeling and assumption, at their breaking point. We ever get there? We've been fighting something for so long, we're done, right? I'm not doing this anymore. Like, this is it, okay? If it doesn't work this time, then I'm doing something different. I'm throwing it away. I'm buying something new, whatever it is, I don't know. But we're done. Like, this is it. Okay, we're talking, early in the morning. And again, we don't know how far necessarily they're out. They were a long way just before this, so I imagine they're way out there. But they feel like, in many ways, probably they're fighting a battle they're just not sure they're going to ever overcome or win. And I imagine we have those same moments as well. But it's usually in those moments when, if we'll look to Jesus, He'll be there. Okay? If we'll rely on God, they're there. Okay? They're going to be there for us in those breaking point moments in life if we allow them. But they don't recognize Him, and so what's their first reaction? Their fear, right? They're scared. They're worried. And, hey, rightfully so, right? Have they ever seen this before? No. It's dark. It's the middle of the night. No one should be able to do this. And let alone, okay, somebody coming to them. When they can't even get the boat that far because the winds, the waves. And there's somebody that's walking to them, that's coming at them. I mean, just think about everything that would be going on. And, I think sometimes we misread the situations in life, don't we? Sometimes we feel like things are too big or not good enough or not what we need. It's definitely not what we want. And we feel, and so we misread a lot of the things. And sometimes that's just fear, right? That's doubt. That's uncertainty about things. That's not knowing what to expect or not knowing what's ahead. And we allow those things to start to, change the way we think about it. We start making up things a lot of times too, don't we? When things don't go our way, when we're fearful or doubtful about things, we start kind of making up those situations, those moments. And for me, a lot of times we go to the worst, okay? Because I know if I'm thinking the worst and it's not the worst, then, hey, it could have been worse, right? I mean, that sounds better. Even if it's bad, it could have been worse, right? But, man, that's tough to know. And that just overwhelms us, I think, so many times. Yeah.
So they had good reason to be fearful. It underlines the message even more for us that their trust still should be.
Yeah, and I'm not trying, exactly, I agree, and I'm not trying to diminish there because And again, we hear lake. I think sometimes this is a sea, right? It's not just a lake. It's a sea. It's a massive body of water. Like, this is a really big, and I don't know how big this storm is, but it's big enough that it's keeping them away. It's causing waves to come up over the boat. So it's a big enough problem that what could happen and what they could be facing, could be deadly, right? Yeah. Yeah, there's no hope there, right?
I lived on Lake Ontario, and you would see 25-foot waves.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think that exactly the lake, and sometimes I've never seen that, so sometimes I think we forget that, right? How bad it can be. Oh, I completely agree. Not only would they be tired just because of the time, it's over in the middle of the night, but they've been working hard for several hours, right, trying to get across this treacherous sea against the wind. It's fighting them, okay? It's actively fighting them. I know when I used to take my kayak or canoe out more, I would always make sure I went against the wind first and hope it stayed the same direction. But against the wind first, so that when I'm tired and trying to come back, I'm allowing the wind to take me more than, So, they're going against it. So I think they're at their breaking point because they're tired, they're frustrated, they're upset, they're angry, and here Jesus is. Again, the thing that's worrying them the most is what could be, right? This storm or these waves, the thing that's so massive that we don't know what's going to happen or could happen, right? And Jesus isn't with them. They can't run down to the bottom of the boat and tell them to wake up, right? And he's not with them. But how incredible is it? The thing that was frightening them the most is the thing that Jesus is just, I'm not using this, but he's just casually kind of walking over, right? The thing that is worrying them the most, that is frightening them the most, Jesus is just moving through. That's an incredible picture, I think, for us. He comes up in just this unexpected way, and we cannot let fear and allow fear blind us from him, right? And so they don't recognize him. Verse 27, immediately Jesus said, hold on, take heart, it is I, do not be afraid. He's trying to provide a little bit of peace, right? It's me. Don't worry too much, okay? Be mindful. Don't be afraid. Take heart. It's just me. It's Jesus. And God it deals with our heart, right? He deals with calming us down. And His Word is supposed to bring us courage. Even during those moments of trouble, of fear, of problems, God brings us courage. You can do this. I am here now. He's not here before, right? He's not right there with them. They're getting a little nervous. They're a little worried. But I am here now. And so I think we have to see and understand, what in our life is louder than the voice of Jesus right now. What is it in our life that is causing us fear or doubt that is louder than the voice of Jesus? Those are things that then we have to turn over to Him, turn over to God, so that we can diminish that doubt and fear in our life. So Jesus says, it is me. Well, how does Peter respond? How does Peter respond initially? Not fully, right? Okay, hold on. I say that, but man, that's kind of a weird way to not believe, isn't it? Okay, I don't know if I really believe that it's you, Jesus, but if it is, just tell me to come on. Like, okay, I don't know. That blows my mind. Because it's like, if I'm telling you that it's me, well, yeah, just come on. Like, if I'm still scared of something, yeah, just come on. Like, yeah, I'm Jesus. Come on. But so he had some faith, right? But it was like, okay, if it really is you, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the voice of Jesus that he could hear and understand. That then that second time it calmed him down. But that's how he says, if it's you, command me to walk on the water. And Jesus said, come. So that assured him enough somehow. Again, it's kind of funny to me, but it assured him enough that he had the faith to get out the boat. Now, I think one thing that we do a lot of times is, we take this story and we look at Jesus and he's walking on the water, and then, man, Peter, like, how do you get out on the water and you doubt Jesus? But I think it's still a credible testament that Peter was able to even get out the boat, right? That's an amazing testament of his faith and courage and trust in Jesus to be able to get out of the boat. So his request, it's rooted in faith. If it's you, okay, he knows what Jesus can do. He knows what Jesus can help him through. And when we have that kind of faith, then it causes us to action. And so Jesus said, come. And what does Peter do? He stepped out. Peter wanted to be with Jesus wherever he was, even in the thing that was causing him the most fear. Okay, and so he came and walked out of the boat because Jesus asked him to. Now, it then says he walked on the water and came to Jesus, but when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me. What sank Peter?
He took his eye off Jesus.
His focus, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
looking at the rest of stuff. You keep his face toward the light and keep having faith in that, keep walking, wouldn't have had a problem.
Yeah. And because he lost focus, it caused him this fear again. And instead of looking at Jesus, he starts seeing everything that could go wrong. Right? Everything that could go wrong. And, man, we do that so many times in our lives, don't we? We see the direction. We see where we want to be, where we need to go, or, we get the word, the diagnosis, whatever it is. And then we start to see everything that could go wrong in that situation. It begins to scare us. It begins to cause us a little bit of maybe even doubt or whatever it is. And when we lose that focus, that is when we begin to sink. It's amazing that Peter ever was able to walk on the water, right? Man, that focus, okay? And I don't know how descriptive and intentional the Bible was trying to be in this, but the next verse, in verse 31, I hear as it says, Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him. Now, I don't know if that was a miracle of Jesus moving or he got to him. I take that as Peter was right there with Jesus when he lost focus. Okay? Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That's just my opinion. Okay? But Jesus, it says, immediately reached out and grabbed him. Jesus is there, obviously. He's been there with him this time. And we need to understand and know that no matter the situation, no matter where we're at, Jesus is right there. So the important part is, how do we respond, right? When things get difficult, when we face these trials, these tribulations, these problems, the road is difficult, even when we lose our focus and we're, again, maybe pulled up out and saved from Jesus, what is our response? And they were there on the boat, and when they got into the boat, Peter and Jesus, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, again saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Now, and I think they had to have known that to some degree. They were just with him when he fed all these people with a little amount of food. Okay, they believe that. But again, they're seeing his power and his glory even more on display. And so they worship Jesus. The storm stopped, and they called and said, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Any final comments?
You know, one thing to remember is all this took place in the middle of the night.
Yep.
It had to be pitch black with the storm. And what I wonder about is how did they see Jesus? He must have had a glow about him or something.
Possible. Could have been, yeah.
Nighttime and he's got sleeping out here.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just interesting.
Yeah, and there's so much to it. Anything else?
Yeah, storm, there's a lot of lightning.
Yep. Lightning, yeah, I thought that too. You never know. Could have been some lightning if it was a big storm. It could have allowed a little bit. And that may have been even scarier if it was like flash here, flash there. You've seen something getting closer and closer. But it's important for us to remember that, man, Jesus is there. Jesus is there in those moments where we're fearful, we're doubtful, and he calls us above that. He rescues us, and he leads us into a deeper response to him because of that. Thank you so much, and y'all have a great rest of the week, a great week. I guess it's the beginning of the week, so y'all have a great week.